again. This is Paul Gilbert, and of course I play guitar for the band Mr. Big. Mr. Big is a rock band, and I play rock guitar most of the time. But I've also learned a lot and really had a good time playing a lot of stuff that I've learned from classical music. So today in this video, we're going to have a look at a lot of that, and hopefully you can play along, learn some of it too. Most classical guitar players actually use their fingers and an acoustic classical guitar to play their classical music. But I do a different thing. I really am not good at the finger thing, so I still use my pick, and a lot of the examples we'll be using distorted electric guitar and imitating the sounds of cellos and violins and even pianos. So hope you have a good time, and before we get started, here's a famous person to help you tune.
Hello everybody, it's a great honor for me to be here as a celebrity guest guitar tuner on the Paul Gilbert video. I'm going to give you a special note here on the fabulous Ibanez PGM 700 guitar that I've been entrusted with to give you the note of choice, which is of course an E note. There it is, tune your guitar up to that. Your E chord should sound something like this. There's the E notes for you to tune your guitar to. Rewind if you have to check that again. And I'll see you around. Thank you.
Way back when I was about 5 years old, I heard classical music, I think, for the first time. My parents had a lot of classical records, and initially I didn't like them nearly as much as the rock and roll stuff that they had. They had Beatles records and Stones and the Animals, and I really dug that. But the classical stuff I actually used to refer to as dummy music, which was the best word I could come up with as a 5-year-old for something that I didn't like as much as rock and roll. I think I really started enjoying classical music when I heard a Mozart piece called Ein klein Nacht or Nachtmusik. I don't know quite how to say it. My German is bad. But it's a real good piece to start with for guitar, for single note distorted kind of stuff. It's pretty simple. It's got a melody that you've probably heard. It's a very famous classical piece, and a little more complicated stuff at the end. It's the first thing I figured out, so good thing for you to start with too. Here it is with some distortion. All right. Well, hopefully the beginning is not too tough for you. As I go on in that piece, the end of it gets a little bit trickier. I do a couple faster pull-off and picking licks. There's really just 3 of them. Let me slow those down for you real quick. This is the first one. I go... And the second one. And the third one. So those sound something like this, sped up. The next thing I learned from my parents' records was a Vivaldi piece called The Four Seasons. And I was still a teenager, so my ears were still, I was still getting my ear training together, and this isn't exactly perfect, but it was the best thing I could come up with, and I still actually like the version that I came up with. So it's not exactly like the original, but it's kind of cool. Uses two-handed technique, and sounds something like this, in the key of C sharp minor. All right. Really, there's only one pattern in that I do. It sounds a lot trickier than it is. For that first beginning part, I'm just using C sharp, E, and G sharp, and this is the pattern. There's 6 notes. Just sped up, sounds like that. Distortion always helps, of course. This one is also a two-handed technique piece. I think it's a Bach piece. I'm not sure exactly which one because I actually got it from my old roommate when I was going to GIT, a guy named Tim Walsh. I'll give credit where credit is due. I stole it from him, but it's a good one, so I'll show you. It's in the key of D minor, and it's got a lot of pedal tone in it. That's really very easy to do with two-handed technique. Sounds something like this. All right, and to play this one, I think one important thing, of course, is I'm using a tapping technique, and when you do that, you have to figure out some place to put your pick. I put my pick down here, right in my second finger, sort of like the heavy metal sign. You can put your pick in there, be heavy metal. And besides that, let me just play a little slower so you get the idea of how it goes, and you can play along. All right, this is the theme from Bach's Harpsichord Concerto No. 1 in the saddest key, D minor. This one's a little more complex than what we've been doing. It's a little more challenging to figure out if you use your ear, and a little more challenging to play, but you'll get it with some work. Let me see if I can play it. Here we go. Very cool. I like that piece. It's got a lot of big interval skips in it, but nothing really all that fast, so hopefully it won't be totally challenging, and you can get it and start playing it and have some fun with it. Hope you like that one. Here's another Bach concerto. This is one for two violins that he wrote also in the saddest key of D minor. I just figured out one part. Hope you enjoy it. It's in the key of D. That one also, if you play bass, the way I fingered that, is only using the